Hello and welcome. This is Antonio Munoz, the Solutions Engineer here at the Attivo Group. I'd like to thank you all for joining me for this webinar demonstration today, where I will be taking you through Acumatica's core functionality. Acumatica is a cloud-native ERP with native multi-company and multi-currency capabilities that offers many different industry-specific additions like construction, retail, or manufacturing. Today, I'll be going over the core functionalities that are found in every edition, as well as some of the lingo that Acumatica uses in their system. So, we'll begin with navigation and user experience, show off some of the core functionality and tools in Acumatica, as well as some of the language that will be pervasive within the system. Then, we'll run through the order to invoice process, while showing you how to create records and process transactions. We'll also be touching on many of the additional tools that Acumatica has included in their process flow. I'll run a mock order from a customer, pointing out changing roles, where the order would be passed on to other team members. Next, we'll be going over Acumatica's mobile solution, an app provided at no additional charge that enables users to easily access the system on the go, allowing you to be in control even if you're away from your workstation. There, I'll file an expense report as though I'd been at a lunch with a customer. After that, I'll go over approvals and assignment maps. These are oversight and process flow tools that work to integrate organizational structure with the system's processes. I'll be doing a two-step approval process to show off how approvals are set up and implemented. Finally, we'll go over reporting in Acumatica ERP, the three types of reports, how each one functions, and how to make them. Then I'll end with some closing remarks. Getting into the system, you'll see the workspace on the left column here. These are role-based categories that have all of that particular role's functionalities and tools set up as a menu. These aren't all, though. By hitting more items, you see a slew of other functionalities like configuration and system maintenance, just not ones that we'll be getting into today. First, let's take a tour of a workspace. If I navigate to payables here, this is the payables workspace, and all payables functions and tools are found here. It doesn't look like much, but by hitting Show All, you'll see there's plenty more where that came from. All very useful and powerful, but with this many, it can tend to clutter the screen and make you feel like you're hunting for whichever tool you need. By hitting the cogwheel at the top, you'll be able to add or remove by checking or unchecking tools from that short menu that you saw at the beginning. So if I close this out and then collapse the list, all I see when I open this space are the tools that are most relevant to me. Each user can configure any workspace they have access to this way, so Acumatica will be able to fill each team member's specific needs and responsibilities. These can also be favorited with these star buttons here. Those will get taken into your favorites workspace at the top of that list. Swapping over to dashboards now, you'll see the customer view dashboard. These are pages that have KPIs and action tiles based on current activity, such as open documents, account totals, reporting on those sort of things. They update with the system, so they stay accurate and they stay live. Dashboards are all aimed at providing actionable information to their users and, of course, immediate access to the tools that they would need to execute on that same information. Now, this page is a breakdown of all customers, but what if I wanted to get a more specific picture? Well, for the purposes of this demo, we're going to say that I got a call from Amelia. She wanted to place, and I quote, another order. So I know she's a previous customer, but I can't quite remember who she's with. I took the details of her order and her phone number, and here's where a very powerful search tool comes into play, that being universal search. If I head into the universal search bar, and I can put in just the first few digits of her phone number, and that will pull up her partner record. If I had searched a tool or inquiry, which we'll see down the road, that would appear on the Menu Items tab. The Help tab would be able to refresh me on something I'm unfamiliar with. And the files, if there were any named or related to the search that I'd put in, they would appear in that tab. For now, while I see her contact here, Amelia, I also see that the same phone number is associated to a customer, being Alta Ace, and I can pull up their partner record here. All of their information is here, but what we're really looking for is their ID. And by copying that and heading back to the customer view dashboard, I can change the customer view to be just Alta Ace's dashboard. It's only their info, but it's still shown on all of these configured displays. And like always, configurability is the name of the game. The design key at the top here allows me to add whatever kind of displays I want to the dashboards. It can be a data table like this one here, or a chart, which is actually hidden behind this panel. Additionally, KPI tiles, hyperlinks, pivot tables, whatever you'd like to have displayed on your dashboard can be added here. Just close this and then hit the design key to save it and close that tool out. This kind of design can be done on all dashboards. This is just one example. The last thing that I want to show off is going to use my sales orders. So let me go ahead and navigate over there. There we are. So you'll see here all of my sales orders, and in the bottom left here, you'll see a live count. I've got 8,700 records on display here, but I want to filter through that. Quick Filters is a tool that I can use to do just that. First, by clicking order type here, I can set what I want to look at, which is just sales orders. Set it equal to SO. By confirming that, I knock myself down from 8,700 to 5,600 records. But I'm also only looking for high total orders, let's say. So clicking here, I can set the value to $500,000 or greater. Knock that down. Now, only 149 records. And lastly, let's say that I only wanted to see companies that had the code ART in their code. So let's put that here. And that brings us down to only 11 records. And if I wanted to save myself and my colleagues the hassle of, filtering out almost 9,000 records, I can name, save, and share this filter over here. You'll also see these buttons over on the right. These are side panels, which are very useful because I don't want to be flipping back and forth between screens or loading a new page every single time I need to look into something. I just want to see the details. The Sales Order View side panel lets me bring up the records that I have selected, so I can see all of their information displayed here, who ordered them, what they ordered, that sort of thing. But it's also based on current selection. So I can just swap to another and it will auto update the display. This side panel down here is for the receivables from the associated partner. So by selecting that, I can see the bartending school and their, relevant receivables, or I could swap over here and look at Art Cage's relevant receivables. So we've seen workspaces and their menus, dashboards with their KPIs and current data displays, universal search, and I'll touch on its sister tool in just a second, quick filters, and side panels. All of these tools are aimed at minimizing redundant clicking or wasting time, searching the system, running around trying to find this particular record or this particular code, nothing like that. This ease of use extends to more than just finding records, though, in Acumatica. So let's get to creating them. Let's get on to the order to invoice process. Remember that call from Amelia? I'm going to process her order. You can access this from your favorites bar if you'd added it up there. But I'm here in the sales workspace and I'm on sales orders, so I just add the sales order from where I left off. Getting back into the system, this plus sign pulls up a new record. And instead of, again, finding and inputting all this info or needing to even remember their customer code to copy all that info, I'm just going to go in here and use Smart Search, which is that sister tool that I mentioned. And that's focused on a single field, searching a single field. And if I just put in ACE, I can see Alt ACE here. I can populate all of it in one go. Down here in the order details, I can also configure the columns as they're relevant to me. The drag and drop functionality, let's say that I wanted to grab unit of measure, quantity on shipment, and discount percentage. Now, I could also use this column configuration button and choose what does or does not appear at all on this record when I create them. So scrolling down here, let's get rid of manual discount, for example. Now that I've moved it into this left column, it won't appear at all when I go looking for it. But I could also add some back by selecting them here and hitting the right arrow. But I'm actually all right with the default settings for this document, so I can go right down to the bottom here and reset it. Next, we'll need to add the items. On the phone, she said that she wanted the Drake snacks they bought last time. And even though I didn't process that order and maybe I'm not even familiar with that product, I can just jump over to sold cents. And if I navigate to the second page here, I'll find the same dogs and yodels that she ordered. All of this customer's previously purchased items are logged here, and this is reflected with all customers and vendors. So it's going to be very difficult to lose track of anything like this. And if you do have a customer that's a repeat offender, you can always just head into Sold Cents and copy them directly from there instead of even needing to search the inventory as a whole. If I add those to the order, I can now swap back to all items, which is more than just Sold Cents, and I can actually grab the laptop that she asked for. Closing out this menu, it's all here, but I actually need to update this quantity. Uh, and if you check the bottom left here, you'll see that I have more than enough to get her the 5 that she asked for instead of the 1. This value here is actively updated as records and transactions are processed, so that'll always stay live. You'll also see, once I click off and stop editing this field, get over here, that a bulk discount baked into the laptop's pricing gets applied. And while we won't be getting into pricing today, that functionality can be configured on other sale items as well. Switching over to the Shipping tab, I can click here to shop for rates. All of my shipping partners have been integrated into the system. And these are all international options, so I'll scroll down here. They don't really apply to this domestic order. But if I do scroll down here, I'll see that I have UPS Ground. I can select them because they're the best price. This will also pull up the required packaging in this bottom panel here, and that's going to really help out our fulfillment folks down at the warehouse. With all of the items added, there's also the matter of the prepayment that she sent us. When we were on the phone, she knew that this was going to be a large order, and so she was going to send me a check for $2,000. Acumatica processes its payments and prepayments as separate records that can then be applied to other relevant documents. The neat part about this is that the ability to create a payment document directly from the document that it needs to be associated to. So as opposed to needing to run over to AR and remember document code and try and record everything like that, I don't need to access any other workspaces or anything like that to process it. So if we get in here, side by side, you'll see the payments and prepayments. Don't get them mixed up, they're different. Um, but I actually haven't sent out this order yet, so I will be making it a prepayment in the amount of $2,000. Now, if I saves this, it's going to auto-save the document itself. And if I head over here and drill back onto that payment, it shows me that it was applied to this sales order. And if I head over to the Totals tab right here, it also reflects that this payment has been applied to it. And that, of course, is the remaining balance that we'll be invoicing her for. So I have our items, customer details, prepayment, and shipping details all covered. So I can now create that shipment from the retail warehouse. From here, I'll change hats to a warehouse manager. Now, before I can confirm that this shipment has been sent or that it's even ready to go, I can click on the ellipsis here and print the pick list for this order. Once the order has been picked and packed into the package that I also know from this document here, I can confirm this package. But you'll notice that that doesn't confirm the shipment, and I don't have a tracking number in this column yet. That won't process until I confirm that the shipment is ready to go and is being sent out on some point soon. Um, so if I head up here and click that, now the tracking number appears just as it would on the shipping label, and I can actually send that to Amelia if need be, so she can keep an eye on her order's progress. With shipping all taken care of, I can now head up here and click Prepare Invoice. I will switch hats again to be an AR clerk. And we'll be creating the golden ticket here, right? By releasing this, our accounts will be updated with recognized revenue. The sale has been made, the shipment's been sent, everything's square. Using the ellipsis, we can actually bring up further actions just like the prior documents, and where we can not only pay the invoice once, of course, the payment arrives, we can also print a hard record of this invoice if we needed to have a hard record, or we could email this invoice to the customer in system and just get that info on their desk on time and make sure that we get paid on time as well. Order to invoice is a pretty fundamental business process, so having a fluid and intuitive system is really key. With tools like Smart Search, it's easy to have error-free data transfer when assigning documents to customers, and having shipment partners integrated directly with the system allows for freight pricing with a lot of precision. It also gives us the option to pick the best one. Payments and prepayments seamlessly relate to these documents, so it's much harder to lose track of cash flow or make mistakes as to where these things are being applied. Not to mention the additional fulfillment functionality with direct to customer communication and of course those pick and pack management tools. But desktop isn't the only place where this ease is found. So let's go ahead and move on to Acumatica's mobile solution. If I pull this up here, this is the Acumatica mobile app, which connects securely to your account. You'll notice that this dashboard looks a little bit different, but it still has the same functionality and tools that we've been using on desktop. Here you have your workspaces and dashboards. By scrolling down and hitting the cog wheel here, it allows you to configure your app even further to your preferences. The person icon here is your account settings. We're not going to get into that right now. Uh, and the star button is again your favorites tab. So your favorites from the app will appear here, which just makes it even easier to navigate than it already is. By hitting the search key, you'll also find that universal search is available in app. And by putting in the first couple letters of the customer code, there you see Alta Ace is right here. Now I'm going to walk through expensing a lunch. The biggest strength of the mobile app is that out of office functionality. And it's nice to not have to put other work on hold to keep expenses reported. Hitting the workspace and then selecting expense receipt, and then the plus sign here will allow us to add a new record. In this case, it'll be an image file with a description. I'll take the photo here. Great brunch spot in DC, by the way. Excellent food. Um, and I can adjust the cropping here before saving. If I add a description, that's meeting with Alta Ace. And here I'm just going to type meals. The system is pretty smart and it's going to match that to an actual designation. It recognizes what I'm going after even though it's not getting an exact text match, which is nice. Everything looks good here, so I'm going to throw this on hold and I'll be able to finish this properly in just a second. But the file is now in system. Heading back to expenses and then to expense claims, I can actually directly add that receipt. Add a description is meeting with Alta Ace. And save that as well. So now all of that has been filed into Acumatica. It's available there in system. And if I actually pull out of the app here and back to the desktop, we'll get in here, expenses. You'll see that if I head to expense receipts, it's right there. The file and the record are in system. And if I head back to claims, its associated claim is here as well. The mobile app brings a lot of connectivity tools, and when you need to get work done, it's just another great option so that you're not up a creek if you happen to be traveling or out of the office. It also provides your entire database, so approvals, which we'll get to in just a moment actually, reports, and files stored in Acumatica will be accessible again so long as you have an internet connection. So decision making won't be seriously hindered by travel. Just don't go to Amazon or the Himalayas or whatever. You have to have an internet connection. Um, and up next, oh, speak of the devil. Next stop is approval and assignment maps. Let's open that up. And while I'm using my favorites workspace here, you can see that these are found in the configuration workspace. These are our approval and assignment maps. Here you can find all the processes that you have automated in system as far as organization and assignments go. So here you could automatically assign leads to salespeople. You could push through payment processing. You could have approvals for high total outflows. All of the oversight and really interdepartmental, multi-level movement of tasks can be made error-free using these tools. We'll be doing two-step PO. As the example here. So let's go ahead and open that up. So here you can see on this screen we have both people and parameters. Rules govern the sequence of events and who's involved. Conditions say how they have to happen using sort of the system's language. So let's see here. We have Layla and Maxwell, and you'll notice that they are at different levels of the organization. Getting into Layla's sort of parameters, you see that for her, the POs have to be taken off hold. So not only have they been created, but they've been sent out. Somebody really wants them done. But the person who has made it doesn't have approving authority. You see that this approval workgroup ID is empty. So they're not somebody with the authority to do that. Max, on the other hand, does also need it to be off hold, but you see here, it has to have been approved by someone who has that work group authority. But why? If it's already been approved, well, because right here, the PO has to be worth more than $5,000. So a team member who doesn't have the authority that file something that large could send it up. Layla could approve it, and she would, be sort of the first line of defense. But of course, things need to be overseen rightly. You want to keep everything square. So then it would then be sent to Max, and he would say, "Oh, this looks good. Everything's right. Approve it, or choose not to approve it and stop it in its tracks." Let's actually see what this looks like in action for a sec. So I'll sign out, and I'm going to swap to a team member who needs a new laptop but doesn't have approving authority. We'll swap to Regina Wiley. We'll navigate here through her purchases. We'll smart search a vendor here. Um, we'll add the item here. So this is all she needs from her PO. We're going to head and remove the hold. And now you see, of course, the next action is to approve it, to actually send this out. But you'll see here that it doesn't get approved. Regina does not have that authority. She's not part of the approvals work group. No dice. Well, this is still saved. So I'm going to head back up here and swap back to my admin account. In this case, we're going to pretend that I am Layla, since this PO is actually too small to get sent over to Max. If I head to my purchases, and then to purchase orders, you'll see right here at the top, pending approval, the same purchase order. When I open it, of course, we see the laptop. The owner is Regina Wiley. I, as Layla, would do my due diligence to make sure that everything's cool and that this new laptop is in fact in need of being ordered. And then, of course, we can approve it. And from here, you'd be able to move forward with that transaction once the product arrives, and the payment needs to be sent out. Approvals and assignment maps can be as complex or as simple as you need them to be. The key functionality of integrating business organization into Acumatica's process flows is that you automate and codify how things will be distributed and how this oversight and this work is going to be done. Lastly, getting on to everyone's favorite, reporting. There are three types of reports in Acumatica: the financial reports, the standard reports from the report designer, and generic inquiries, each serving a different function within the system. Let's start with the financial report writer, which pulls data from the general ledger of your choice to create P&Ls, balance sheets, cash flows, whatever you'd like. We can access these from the finance workspace. We get in here. Pulling up that P&L, you could choose to pull a template that you had created or was shared by another user if one was up here. Or what we're going to do is you set the parameters down here and you run the report. Here is our P&L. All of these links direct back to their sources. All these blue links are actually hyperlinks, which we're going to show off in just a second. So selecting the year-to-date sales revenue, it's then going to pull up a display that's got all of the accounts and their total values that then, of course, contributed to that year-to-date on the P&L. I can even drill down into the sub-accounts. Let's do ELE triple aught here. And here you can even see the products that were concerned. And drilling back into the products, we can actually see the transactions in the GL that took place or were recorded as these products were getting moved and sold. All of that information, and that's for everything in system that otherwise would have a record like this. It all boils all the way down to the actual ledger entries. So you have complete oversight as to what's going on there. Heading back to the surface, I can pull us up here to the groupings tab. And these allow me to further break down this report and sort it out, depending on what I need to actually be looking at. For example, I could pull up the product company, and then of course we have the same year to date and every other account here that's highlighted and can be drilled back on, but that's just for the product company. And I can do the same thing with the service company. So if I needed to do a little bit of internal auditing, some investigation, I'd be able to run through this quite quickly and see where the errors seem to have taken place. And then, of course, I could drill back even further if I needed to. At the top here, you can also hit these commands, print, email, and export, create a hard copy, send it to someone from in-system, or of course, turn it into an Excel or PDF document. So financial reports can go all the way back to the source documents, but they also give you a company-wide view of current state. And that's with no need to use programming skills to create them or anything like that. It's all right here in system using the writer. Speaking of no need to code or anything like that, let's move on to the second type of report. Those are our standards reports. Those are our standard reports. These come from the report designer and allow you to choose how to display any data within the system. It's very similar to Crystal Reports if you use that tool, since it allows you to format a consistent look to the reports, as well as import images should you so choose. I'm going to pull up a standard report for sales order details by customer. and it has the same drill back capabilities as our other reports. And the Groups tab will filter my result by customer. That Groups tab, again, sort of picks the most relevant field that you would divide the report by, and then you can have that layout there. If I had multiple pages, I'd be able to flip back and forth through them using these arrow keys. I'd also be able to, of course, print, send. Or export this using these command keys in the same way. Now, this one only covers the current period, but heading back to a report editing screen, I could create another kind of report entirely. I could focus on, let's say, a single customer from a single warehouse for a single product, and then for whatever time frame I like. So let's do Alta Ace's orders from the retail warehouse for laptops since December of last year. And then, of course, I can save that as a template. Again, save everyone the hassle, including myself. And we'll name that just there we go. Yeah. This allows you to make other standard reports for different entities as you need them. So you'll always have the data you need to have displayed on hand, and you can have it configured the way that you'd like it to be configured. Um, these are almost all listed in their associated workspaces, and of course, the ability to edit sort of the different parameters of the reports provides a lot of insight into operations, which is another sort of broad functionality of these standard reports. The last kind of reports in Acumatica are the generic inquiries. These are SQL-driven reports that allow you to select and marry different fields, all with live data. You can also set conditions to look at particular situations or parameters if you would so choose. Let's use the universal search to open up the GI for invoiced items. Here is where you would edit the inquiry. Running it pulls up a similar readout to what you've seen before with those document readouts. But here you can also see your saved configurations, key 12 month and 12 month. Um, let's say that I wanted to set up a local only configuration. Same thing as quick filters. I would just apply the filter, set equal to local, and like we saw earlier, I can always name, save, and share these templates. To edit the inquiry more broadly, let's just pull up customization here. And I can expose this to mobile, use it on the go, and save it here. And of course, you can also edit the fields and tables that it's pulling from in the same space. The last thing with GIs that I wanted to touch on is pivot tables, since GIs are where you create them. Going back to customization, you can select pivot tables. And I don't want to get too far into the weeds on this, but all of that pivot table functionality that you've learned to know and love is all here. For now, I'm just going to grab a single field and add it to the filters. Let's go for state. And pull that up here into the filters box. You can get as complex as you like, with as many different fields and whatnot that you want to have compared. For right now, I'll just save this, and then we will view our pivot. And of course, here you have it. All of our inventory is listed here, all of our details here on the table itself. And when I need to look at it, I will head up here, grab state, and put that over here as a filter. And there you have it. Our pivot table is now filtered by state. BC is British Columbia, by the way. That's a Canadian province. So we've gone over Acumatica's award-winning navigation and configuration tools like Universal Search, the role-based workspaces and dashboards, and quick filters. Users will be able to configure their own workspaces to fit their needs in nearly every aspect of the system, while continuing to benefit from the intuitive, sort of easy-to-learn system organization. We also saw the order-to-invoice process with prepayment, fulfillment, and accounting tools that enable an easy and consistent workflow, as well as the interteam functionality that keeps everyone on the same page, including your customers. The mobile application and expense reports, with file management and live data available anywhere you have the internet. The mobile application and expense reports with file management and live data available anywhere you have internet access. We also touched on integrating hierarchy and oversight into Acumatica's processes in the form of approvals and assignment maps, which easily scale to the size and complexity of your organization, role changes, promotions, user onboarding. And finally, we closed with Acumatica's diverse and capable reporting tools, which not only delivered highly configurable macro views of operations in current state, but could conduct you all the way back to their source documents and ledger entries, which grants both a comprehensive business information, but insight into the more granular sources of that info within your system. That's all from me for today. Please feel free to ask questions. We have some Q&A time here, or reach out to us at any of the information I've got here on screen. Thanks, everyone.